It started with a luxury resort project in Hawaii's Mauna Kea and ended through shrewd treachery. According to the complaint, this case stems from a calculated and unlawful scheme involving a sports agent acting for his client. At the center, a luxury development within Hawaii's Mauna Kea district. The plaintiffs allege they conceived the project and over the last several years invested in it and were ready to deliver until agent Nez Balelo and his client, Shohei Ohtani, used their celebrity leverage to exclude the creators, all for financial gain and self-interest. Acting through Balelo, the defendants allegedly delivered an ultimatum to the plaintiff's business partner: remove the plaintiffs from the project or face retaliatory litigation. That move cost the plaintiffs millions in economic entitlements and stripped them of the project they conceived and built. As a result, the plaintiffs contend the defendants should be held accountable, not insulated by fame, for issuing threats and pursuing baseless legal claims. They're suing for tortious interference and unjust enrichment, seeking damages for what they claim is significant harm. They also contend this wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of misconduct. Think of this as our first pitch in a high-stakes legal season, one where the plays unfold in motions and depositions, and every run is counted in dollars. Hi, and this is MimiLeaks. We'll be walking through a lawsuit filed against Shohei Ohtani and his agent, Nez Balelo, a case that claims they cut private deals, disrupted existing partnerships, and personally profited from a Hawaii development project at the plaintiff's expense. As with any lawsuit, what follows reflects the plaintiff's account of events, a narrative shaped by their stated facts and interpretations. If legal drama is your kind of game, tap subscribe, share with someone you know who loves to follow the paper trail, and settle in. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Now, let's dig in. Kevin J. Hayes Sr., a real estate investor with over 40 years of experience, co-founded KHM JV with his co-plaintiff and with Kingsbarn Realty Capital. Their goal? Acquire and develop Parcel F in the Mauna Kea Resort. Tomoko Matsumoto, an award-winning broker ranked first in regional transaction value since January 2024, is a JV co-founder and through Hapuna Realty, the exclusive listing for Parcel F, a role soon to intersect with high-profile names. West Point Investment Corporation, operated by Hayes, focuses on acquiring and developing luxury real estate, including projects tied to the same resort. Hapuna Estates property owner, run by Hayes and Matsumoto, manages another Mauna Kea resort development, setting the stage for overlapping interests. Shohei Ohtani, a professional baseball player who signed a $700 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2023, is party to an endorsement agreement linked to Parcel F, bringing celebrity attention into the mix. Defendant Nez Balelo is a sports agent employed by Creative Artists Agency who acted as Ohtani's agent and representative. The First Circuit Court for the state of Hawaii has jurisdiction over the subject matter of this action and over parties pursuant to Hawaii law. Venue is proper in this court because a substantial part of the events or omissions giving rise to the claims occurred in Hawaii County, and because there's one or more defendants that reside or conduct business there. Now that we understand the background, let's go to the factual allegations and specifically what could be considered as the plaintiff's vision. This portion I will be reading from the complaint. Hayes and Matsumoto are experienced and well-respected real estate professionals who have successfully conceived, developed, and marketed multiple luxury real estate projects in Hawaii individually and through West Point. They have decades of combined experience, extensive regional relationships, and a strong track record of execution in high-end real estate ventures. Their reputations in the industry are hard-earned and well-known. In 2013, Hayes and Matsumoto conceived of what would become the Parcel F project, a premium residential subdivision within the Mauna Kea Resort. In 2023, they entered into the JV with Kingsbarn to acquire, subdivide, construct, and develop Parcel F into 14 luxury lots. Pursuant to the operating agreement, Hayes was designated as JV's managing member, responsible for day-to-day oversight and operations of the Parcel F project. Matsumoto, the top-ranking real estate broker in the region, served as the exclusive listing broker for the subdivision and an operating partner with influence over all development matters. Although Kingsbarn held the majority equity stake, Hayes and Matsumoto retained significant ownership interests, and were responsible for nearly all aspects of on-the-ground execution. As part of a bold marketing strategy, Hayes and Matsumoto, on behalf of the JV, secured one of the most high-profile endorsements imaginable, I'd say. In early 2023, contemporaneously with the formation of the JV, they negotiated and executed an agreement with Shohei Ohtani, one of the most recognizable professional athletes in the world. Plaintiffs made this investment in hopes that Ohtani's star power would attract other high net worth individuals to purchase properties. Though not a party to the agreement, Nez Balelo, a high-powered agent at Creative Artists Agency and Ohtani's longtime representative, inserted himself into every aspect of the relationship. Balelo quickly became a disruptive force. He treated the endorsement agreement as a one-way street and responded to business matters with stonewalling or hostility. Whenever challenged, resorted to his go-to tactic, threat of default. On numerous occasions, plaintiffs were told that unless they conceded to Balelo's ever-increasing demands, Ohtani would walk away from the deal. Through these tactics, Balelo succeeded in extracting concessions from the JV, Hayes and Matsumoto. These included things that are redacted. As discussed further below, Kingsbarn repeatedly aligned itself with Balelo's demands, fearing his threats and prioritizing appeasement over its partnership with plaintiffs. Balelo's sabotage escalated in mid-2024, when a preliminary contractor estimate came in higher than expected, a common occurrence in real estate development. A bunch of things happened that we are not allowed to see. Still, Balelo leveraged the situation to demand other things that are redacted in an effort to preserve the relationship and keep the project on track, and again under the unlawful threat of Ohtani walking away from his deals. Kingsbarn, Hayes, Matsumoto ultimately agreed to something, maybe with some exclusions or additions, not sure. At the same time, Hayes continued pushing for robust marketing efforts. Balelo resisted at every turn and instead undertook measures intended to embarrass and discredit Hayes. Rather than support its managing member and enforce the agreement, Kingsbarn instead sidelined Hayes, including his involvement in construction oversight of Ohtani's home. In doing so, Kingsbarn positioned itself to curry favor with the celebrity camp at the plaintiff's expense. Indeed, Kingsbarn began capitulating to Balelo's every whim. Hayes was excluded from committee meetings, operation decisions were made without his input, marketing efforts were shut down. Over time, it became increasingly obvious that Kingsbarn was more concerned about preserving its relationship with Ohtani than honoring its obligations to its business partners. Kingsbarn's alliance with Balelo culminated in a coordinated ambush on July 17, 2025. Without any prior discussion or notice, Kingsbarn summoned Hayes and Matsumoto to a Zoom call. Present were the two Kingsbarn committee members, Hori and Hama, along with Kingsbarn General Counsel Ray Jones. During the call, Kingsbarn abruptly announced that Hayes was being removed as managing member of the JV and Matsumoto was being terminated as listing broker for the Parcel F project. No specifics were offered and no proper opportunity to respond was provided other than a brief and cursory phone call the next day. Kingsbarn openly admitted during the call that Balelo demanded the terminations and that they were being done solely to placate him. Specifically, Kingsbarn acknowledged that Balelo had threatened to drag Kingsbarn into a separate lawsuit unless it terminated Hayes and Matsumoto. The pretext for this threat was a fabricated allegation that plaintiffs had misused Ohtani's NIL rights by including his image on a website promoting the Parcel F project that also referenced Hapuna Estates PO's other real estate venture in the Mauna Kea Resort. And NIL, I know from Bill Belichick's video series, is name, image, and likeness. Kingsbarn stated that Balelo agreed to keep Kingsbarn out of the to-be-filed lawsuit only if it complied with its demands to terminate plaintiffs. The claim against Hayes and Matsumoto was baseless. The website remained online with no material changes, I guess a website that was referenced in the redactions, for 14 months before Balelo suddenly objected and threatened litigation, weaponizing the issue in order to create pretext for yet another set of demands and concessions, and ultimately the false basis for his recent retaliation against the plaintiffs. Even if there were a legitimate name, image, and likeness issue, there is not. Balelo had no authority to demand changes to the JV's operations or governance. Yet Kingsbarn, rather than defending its business partners, prioritized its relationship with Ohtani over its contractual duties once again after they caved to Balelo's demands. On July 21st, Kingsbarn sent written confirmation of its decision, purporting to end its brokerage relationship with Matsumoto and terminating Hayes as managing member of the JV for cause. The letter cited no facts and referenced no contractual standard. The claim was clearly contrived to provide cover for the real motive, appeasing Balelo and Ohtani. Crucially, the purported termination was a material breach of the operating agreement. Indeed, the purported terminations lacked even the appearance of procedural integrity. Clearly, Kingsbarn acted outside its authority under pressure from Balelo and Ohtani to attempt an unlawful removal of its partners in breach of the operating agreements. The ambush against Hayes and Matsumoto was the culmination of a broader pattern. For nearly 2 years, Balelo acted like the rules did not apply to him. He threatened defaults, extracted unjustified amendments, and bullied his way through negotiations. Kingsbarn, far from resisting, enabled the behavior. The harm to the plaintiffs is substantial. As a direct result of their purported and unlawful removal, plaintiffs stand to lose millions of dollars in compensation tied to projected home building profit, construction management fees, and broker commissions. In addition, both Hayes and Matsumoto lost control over the project they conceived and led for years, and Hayes, Matsumoto, West Point, and Hapuna Estates PO have suffered significant reputational harm. Meanwhile, defendants enjoy the fruits of plaintiffs' labor. All because plaintiffs' work, the Parcel F project exists. The brand is established and the value is embedded. Defendants' actions were intentional, calculated, and executed with the express goal of removing plaintiffs from the Parcel F project and capturing its value for themselves through unilateral negotiations with the Kingsbarn principals, who have repeatedly demonstrated capitulation. The forced termination of the plaintiffs also provides Balelo with scapegoats of something, thereby protecting its extremely valuable agent relationship with Ohtani. This conduct constitutes tortious interference and unjust enrichment, for which plaintiffs seek to hold the defendants accountable and recover monetary damages. The plaintiffs assert a claim for tortious interference with contractual and business relations and allege they held valid enforceable agreements tied to the Parcel F project and contracts securing their economic entitlements. Defendants, the plaintiffs contend, knew these agreements and the benefits they conferred, and acting through Balelo, defendants sought to disrupt those agreements by pressuring the plaintiff's business partner to remove them from the project. This conduct was intentional, wrongful, and without legal justification. They further allege that the interference caused the loss of millions in economic entitlements, deprived them of the project they conceived and built, and assert that defendants' actions were a substantial factor in causing these damages. As a result, plaintiffs seek an amount to be determined at trial. The plaintiff's second claim is for unjust enrichment, saying that through their reputations and contributions to the Parcel F project, they conferred substantial economic value on defendants, including something that's redacted. Plaintiffs contend that despite knowingly accepting and retaining these benefits, defendants orchestrated their removal from the project, excluding them from further participation and depriving them of agreed-upon compensation and economic rights. Retaining these benefits without payment is inequitable and unjust. As a direct and proximate result, plaintiffs suffered harm in an amount to be determined at trial. Prayer for relief, or in closing, the plaintiff respectfully requests that the court enter judgment in plaintiff's favor on all claims, enter compensatory, statutory, and punitive damages as permitted by law, grant injunctive and declaratory relief as appropriate, award reasonable attorney's fees, cost, and interest, and grant such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. That wraps up our review of the case filed against Ohtani and his agent, Balelo. What do you think? If you found this breakdown insightful, please like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out on future cases. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.